Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon. It's 3 p.m. right now, and thank you very much for joining in. My name is Jason, and today we're going to do our first webinar that is also to share about our new upcoming platform that's going to be launched this coming July. That I will keep it to the later part of the presentation. But beforehand, I will also walk you through, I think over here, the audience today, most of you guys are actually from the quality or regulatory department. So I think this really comes close to your heart where adopting of standards and implementing processes is really sometimes very challenging and a big pain. So right here, we're going to walk through those stories again, and then later part of my presentation, as I mentioned, I will talk about our solution and how it really can solve those problems. But beforehand, I thought that I can also give a very quick introduction about myself. I've been in 10 years in this industry, mainly, and in fact, most of my time is spent on the quality and the regulatory role of a company. 10 years, probably not too long, but long enough to understand the pain and the struggles of people in this position. And that's really the reason why we started Standard. And prior to that, of course, I spent a short time in the Singapore government as well, and also some time in Singapore local accelerator, that's Clearbridge. And also having the opportunity to work with many promising startups and SMEs in the region. Basically, as part of our consultancy business, we also have helped about almost 50 companies for the past couple of years to set up QMS from scratch all the way to bringing them to certification. I'm also part of the ISO TC 210 working group that allows me to also understand very clearly the medical device landscape as well as the different standards that could impact the industry. And that really keeps me abreast of the latest updates in this particular field. And finally, if you are a Singapore company, you will also understand that in Singapore, there is a requirement to also have a consultant be certified by the different bodies. And here, one of the certified consultant who is able to help companies set up QMS in the medical device industry, as well as also looking at HSA registration, CE marking in the Europe, as well as US FDA registration. Okay, I think this basically sums up my whole entire presentation. If you look at this page, you will clearly realize that this is exactly what is happening to every single one of us when it comes to a day of an external audit. It's 7 p.m. and you'll be wondering why you're still in the office trying to figure out some of these documents, where are they stored. They have been requested by the auditors, but you just can't find them. Or even if you have found them, you realize that there are some missing signatures, missing information, and then you start to struggle and really panic. And yeah, this is really what is a real life experience in what you see in a company, or I would say what you truly experience if you are in this particular role, especially in the quality department. Of course, I myself, I've been in this position for long, and I am exactly feeling what you're feeling right now if you are facing an audit very soon in the next couple of weeks. And that's the reason why I think, and that's really the main motivation about what we are behind the whole entire journey, to develop solutions to help companies be able to overcome this with ease, and of course with streamlining all the different processes, such that at the end of the day, you are taking full control of the processes that happens day to day, and you do not have to wait until couple of weeks or months before the audit and you start to panic, start to bring in different documents and starting to chase after different people for signature. And of course, before I go straight into the demonstration, I thought maybe I just give you a very quick overview about why, of course, the background about why companies would need to implement standards. The very first thing that we see is regulatory requirements. I think most of you guys would have clearly know about this because regulatory requirements is a very big thing, especially in the medical device industry. Without standards, without meeting the requirements of the different countries' regulation, you definitely can't play a role in the business. And of course, more and more companies look beyond just fulfilling regulatory requirements. In fact, this is a lot about brand building, a lot about gaining customer confidence, where you will realize that adopting standards and be able to present yourself to a client to say that you have proper processes and procedure to ensure a good quality and consistent product and services, that really wins a lot, and that really means a lot to a client. And the last part, of course, is overcoming a crisis. I think here we are seeing that whenever there is a product recall or there is a situation where companies need to manage what is a complaint or significant issue that has happened to a product out there, how do you recover them? And I think this is basically a lot about processes. And how are you able to overcome this is one thing. And of course, the other thing would be, how are you able to build your brand back again? I think this is then again all about the trust and all about the customer confidence. And all this are probably a very good motivation behind why companies implement standards. But of course, we all here would know that implementing processes and fulfilling regulation is not something so straightforward. It's always very time consuming, and right now everything is on paper. And because it's so manpower intensive, it is actually a very expensive process if you look at the man hours being spent. And here, what is even more interesting is that most companies, or in fact, most expectation is that the quality department is tasked to do the whole entire, to ensure the whole entire company passes the yearly audit. And this has been what is going on out there. And in fact, why this is even scarier is because besides the quality department is being tasked for that, and mainly even so, it is so time consuming and costly. It's because these people have to really be taking a sole responsibility of training new employees and of course retraining them every year, ensuring that departments, processes, individual departments follow their own SOPs. And whenever they have questions, one of the first few people that get approached is actually the quality people. And when things go wrong, non-compliance, every single finger basically just point towards the quality department to make sure that they overcome and handle this thing. And of course, on a very regular basis, they have to perform internal supply audits. But what we really want to bring this message across is that quality, or in fact, meeting the auditor's expectation every year is not just the task of a quality department. In fact, it is really everybody's responsibility. And if everybody does their part, you'll realize that the internal and supply audit actually is a breeze to the quality department. And this should be the way, because then again, day-to-day activities, if they are being done the right way, if they are being tracked correctly, you don't have to worry too much about that when it comes to the audit. Here, our vision again, we would say, is to put quality at the center of a business, and we make it easier for you. Standard Solution is an enterprise platform that we have developed for quite a while, and we have really sit ourselves inside our client's company and really to understand the process and the struggle again. And here we are pretty much confident that this platform is able to help you implement international standards just beyond ISO 13485, being able to streamline all your business processes and across the entire organization. As mentioned just now, we look at everybody being involved in this whole entire process. And with this, you will be easily able to accelerate your global growth and expansion. Here, I will just very briefly touch about the 5 steps that we have come up with in terms of our company, what we would always recommend our clients to take on when it comes to implementation of standards. From document creation, training, implementation, all the way to preparing for internal audit and meeting your yearly certification. And we have 2 products here. Standard first is for new companies that are totally fresh about the QMS, have not started or embarked with the preparation before. This platform is really for you that when it comes to setting up, it is a very intuitive Q&A interface that can help you, that can bring you through the whole entire journey to set up your quality manual, SOPs and forms with ease. With this limited time that I'm talking about within this webinar, I will not touch about this too much. Of course, I'll pay a bit more attention on standard solution, where this is definitely suitable for all companies, whether you are already certified or you are totally brand new. What we want to focus on again is on all the pain points that I mentioned just now, to be able to help you streamline the workflow and processes so that you consistently be able to achieve good quality in your product and services. Right now, we have the privilege to be supporting more than 200 companies through this whole entire journey. We hope to grow more, of course, with all our hard work and all our outreach. So later on, of course, if you think that what we are doing here is definitely interesting, please spread the words for us. Please share the video, and we'll be more than happy to hear more of your feedback as well. Some of the testimonials that come from our current existing companies include being able to shorten their time to achieve certification. Of course, a very step-by-step guidance, and also streamlining their processes digitally so they can manage their workflow with ease and effective oversight of the whole entire quality processes. Some companies also look at, within a short time, they really have to get into a new market, and they use our platform to achieve that. And 1 month is really very, I would say, impressive timeline. And we even have partners in Germany who is also using our solution to be implementing such a platform for their own clients. So, yep. Okay, right now I will go into the demonstration of our new platform. So just give me a while and let me toggle the screen over. Okay, right. So this is a mock-up of our platform, and this is indeed as close to what we are looking at in terms of our platform launch in next month. That's July. Now it's really June. Yeah, so this is a multi-user platform that companies can log in with your own user ID and password, and it's definitely collaborative, but at the same time helping you to meet the requirements of the standards that you're adopting. Okay, so let's say right now you're able to log in into the platform, and you see the very first thing that we bring you in is a library module. This is where you're going to store all your documents. You're able to sort them into proper folders. And with this demonstration, I'm going to show you how, for example, you, as a company, if you have not set up a QMS before, then you would use our first platform to generate a document. And if you are an existing company that you're using our platform to be implementing and storing all your documents and processes online, I will walk you through first with this very, our first library module. So the first thing is, for example, if let's say we are looking at bringing in a particular SOP, let's say a training SOP, what you will see here is that you have a right bar that appears immediately, and you're able to rename and put a numbering system to it. You can even categorize them based on SOP, and you would already imagine right now that, or I would say in the current state where you are doing what you are doing in the company right now, you would have to get a SOP approved by different people. You'll be routing them by email, sending all to different stakeholders, and then perhaps printing them out, chasing after them for signature, and making sure that they sign on time and that you can publish them, scan them again, inform everybody in the company that you have a new SOP. So this is the current struggle, and often most people will miss the timeline or forgot about it. And that's the reason why auditors are always able to track non-conformance in documentation. And here, what I'm going to show you here is how companies can easily track all these in place and able to sign online. So here you see that we even have a time storage period or review frequency. Whenever you see a time factor being in place, it means that our software is able to trigger a reminder for you via email, so you are always on your toes to execute certain activities. Okay, so let's say we save this file, and now I'm ready to bring this to a version 1. And if I scroll down, you'll realize that I need to also fill in my change description. This is going to be a new document implemented, and I can even link up the affected documents. That the purpose of this is that whenever you make any change to this current training SOP, you'll be reminded that there are some other affected SOPs that you may need to review to make changes. And often again, this is always missed out by the traditional way of handling. Okay, and now we are looking at the routing for approvals. So a couple of steps, and later on I can also show you that you are also able to easily make changes to these steps if you think either you are too small for this or too large for this. You can easily manage these processes accordingly. So here you can actually select individual staff to review, approve, acknowledge, or publish the different steps happening to approve a particular document. But of course, we have a preset function here that makes things easy. And because this is a training SOP, let's say we are involving the human resource department. And yes, once you click it, everybody who is involved consistently will always be appearing, the names. We can even have prerequisite for you to make the relevant steps, so that, for example, Amanda will only be able to see this document or being triggered to see this document only when Karen have signed it. So that's the purpose of prerequisite. And so let's begin this reviewing process. You'll see the documents on the left. You can read the particular SOP. And once you're ready to sign off, Karen can click on it. And how do you sign off? You basically click on sign now, and you are able to key in your password again. And this is actually the time where you sign it. So when you sign on it, the date and the time will be captured by the software. So this is how we can also show traceability in terms of signing of this document. So if I fast forward, then again, everybody have received the email, logged in, signed, and finally it comes back to Karen. Karen is able to publish this with ease by keying in the password. Okay, so now this whole entire process is done. And I can even see the version history here. And when I click on the latest version 1, just now it was supposed to be draft. And when I clicked on it, I can see that some information about that. It's currently version 1. What are the SOPs that's been tagged? We mentioned about this just now. And what you can also see is that now the status have changed to published. And if I click on this preview button, this icon, you will be able to also see the SOP that has been signed. And in case you need to look at, again, the change description, there will be a additional page that will be tagged behind the SOP with all the signatory information, as well as anybody that is being involved in, has been trained. So all this information will be captured, and just in case you need to print them out for any purposes to discuss with your the auditors, yeah, you can still print them out, and this information will still be captured. But in any case, the platform has really tracked all this information for you. Okay, so this is the library module that I've shown. The next one that I'm going to talk about is actually workflow. So before I go into that, I thought to give you a very quick understanding about what workflow is all about. Right now, if you realize that in terms of your SOPs, everything is written in words on SOPs, and it is always a very common trend that people say, hey, I don't really read the SOPs, or when I read it, I perhaps don't really fully understand. And when things happen, then you may not follow the SOPs exactly until you read that again. So, and this is definitely currently still the challenge out there. And even for the different forms that you need to fill in, you realize that you would have missed out because or you're unsure, or you'll be chasing after your quality department to ask, oh, this issue has happened, what forms do I need to fill in, how do I do it? And a lot of time is being spent here in the discussion and going back and forth. So we really see that this workflow, it's very useful for people to be able to structurize this whole entire process in a real life situation that you can collaborate between your teams. And whenever there's an issue that happened, somebody would have received an email to come into the platform, and basically the solution will take care of the rest for you. You just follow through the instructions. Okay, so let us take a look at workflow. For a recommended start, what we will do is that, let's say if you're adopting the ISO 13485, we will definitely recommend you a list of all the workflows, which in fact, each workflow should tally with each SOP that you have. So it becomes like a SOP being alive instead of just writing it in content. And of course, you also have the opportunity to create your own new workflows if you want to make things even clearer for different people. So let's say we talk about here, for the purpose of this demonstration, a hiring of a new employee. This is in fact always overlooked because people talk about hiring. I just write a general job description. I just published it on the jobs portal. And when people start sending resumes, you happily just review them and select the person that you like and issue the contract. And sometimes you even forget to issue an employee contract as well that is properly signed off. And this becomes worrying because during the audit, you realize that not only when you are conforming to standards that you have to have a proper hiring process, even the smallest company that you start off, you actually should be looking at tracing this very clearly. So when companies are already on ISO or have already been adopted a QMS, this is even more crucial, that all your job description, who has approved that, who has been doing the interviews, who has been tasked to actually send out an employee contract and have the contract been officially signed off, and where are these documents being kept. I think this is crucial. So we need to really track down these steps, and I'm going to show you how Standard Solution is helping you to do that. Okay, so here we have a recommended 10 steps of bringing you from the start all the way to issuing of or setting up a job description form describing who you want to hire, the position, all the way to issuing a employee contract that's been signed, and then preparing for training the new employee when he or she is coming on board in 1 to 2 months' time. So, okay, with this purpose of the demonstration, I said that we have 10 steps. Then again, I just want to assure you that if you scroll down, you realize that there's one edit workflow, and at any point of time, you can always edit this workflow or customize this according to your needs, and then you may have more steps or less steps. Okay, so here, what we want to do is to assign the different people to be executing the next few steps. So here, for example, I'm going to select Karen to be creating or filling up the job description form of this particular person that you're going to hire. Of course, then again, I just want to remind you that we have this manage preset function. Here, everything is just easy when you have already set it as a preset. So for example, now we're going to hire a new marketing executive. So the marketing department will be heavily involved in this process of the hiring. So here you see that step 1 to step 4, Karen, and of course there are some steps that involve Elvina. So let's click on this and you will have this steps clearly defined and the staff that's being involved. And here, task again, the second column, the third column, sorry, you can basically drop down and select what you want the staff to be doing. And if there is any sort of templates or documents that you already store in the library, which you should, because then it's part of your quality system, you can easily tag them. And once you tag them in, you are able to make sure that this is always part of your workflow. And whenever you update this new template of a job description form, for example, the workflow automatically captures the latest version for you. So you will not be attaching a very old form that shouldn't be there in the first place. Okay, of course, the other thing that we can look at is of setting up the due dates. So here, that's where we have the date and the time, and this is crucial again because we are allowing people to, the whole entire workflow is being set based on steps and of course with timeline. So you will receive emails and notification such that you are always following a workflow within a timeline, and this significantly reduces or prevent non-compliance. Okay, so let's begin the workflow. Here we have a very quick title to set up this whole entire activity. So now I'm Karen, and I'm seeing that I received a notification up here that I need to create a new job description for new hire who is a marketing executive. And pretty straightforward, I just need to download this template, fill it up, and I can just click complete and key my password. And next step, when I'm ready to bring this job description back to as a record for approval before I actually send out this job description to the different portal, I need to upload it back. Okay, so initiate approval process. Now you see we bring it back for you to the library module, and that's where you see that there's this new job description coming in as a record. So I will choose that as record, save it, and initiate approval. So same process is if I fast forward this, okay, so the different people will be signing this off, and I begin the workflow. Okay, now I'm Elvina. I'm looking at this screen. I'm supposed to review this job description electronically. Again, based on the traditional way, you're going to pass this around for signature. So we totally manage this for you over here with ease. So I can sign again with my password. And now it's back to Kevin again to continue the workflow. So now back again, I'm Karen. I'm notified here with my task box that I got to continue with my process. Okay, so the latest job description has been published, has been signed, approved. Now we can send it to the different channels for publishing to start your hiring process. Again, as you go on, this will be the tracking your real traceability workflow to capture every single step that has been done, which is very crucial. Yep, so here even when I have all my different resumes that come in, I can just store it inside here as part of the workflow. And if I fast forward this, Elvina is being tasked, because she's the hiring manager, she's being tasked to interview these different candidates and finally selected one person. And of course, as part of the next few steps, you will need to make sure that this person that's coming on board totally understand what job he or she's going to be fulfilling. So right now we are going to send her a email to say, hey, we have a new position that we're going to offer you, and thank you very much, congratulations. We send it via email, and then Caleb just need to click on the email address, email account, then verify the email. Again, very easily, without any hurdles. She's also able to come in to look at the job description prepared for her, so she can sign it easily. And yes, now we are looking at even involving somebody who has not joined the company, who do not have an account yet, to be easily coming to be part of this platform and this workflow, and that all these steps are well captured. And finally, of course, just now I mentioned, with all the job description being done, with the letter offer being sent out, signed, completed, Karen is expecting that Caleb will be joining in the next 1 to 2 months' time. And when it comes in, who is going to be preparing for this new employee training? And most often people will just wait for the person to come in and then decide what to do with him or her, which we shouldn't do that. Here we are helping you to trigger and move into another workflow. So again, you see, this is really very helpful, because then now we are moving into the next workflow, which is employee training. And you see there's another next 9 steps that we have recommended here, involving a few form templates found from the library. And here you can push for the next workflow after you have done all the same steps of assigning different people to be involved. So again, we fast forward, and because the next workflow has been triggered, this new hiring workflow, we can close it off. So here you see everything is being completed, is in green. And if we close it, then you realize that it's lined up here as closed. And if we were to filter this particular workflow, this is also when it comes to audit, the auditors always like to ask, can I see how did you hire this person? And this is just one very good example where you can filter off by name or template name, and you can easily see that, okay, for this marketing executive hire, we have this entire list of activity that happened from the start, step 1 of filling up the job description, all the way to closing the employee contract, as well as triggering to a new training, preparing for a new employee training step. So here, this is a full traceability. In fact, this is pretty powerful, and that this would fulfill most requirements coming from the standards and processes. Okay, I think with limited time today, I will just be showing you the library and the workflow module. I will keep the rest. Of course, we have many different other modules that further help you to streamline your processes. I think I will keep those for the next session, and that feel free to let me know what's your feedback after looking through this demonstration. And let me just quickly go back to my PowerPoint slides so we can continue the last bit of my presentation. Okay, again, from the start to so far, I think I focused enough that quality is really everybody's business. It is not just the role of the quality or the regulatory department. It really takes a team to consistently deliver and uphold all these great standards. In fact, really the processes that has been determined within the company. So then with all this, you can really build the confidence that when a company work with a customer, a partner, in fact, an end user, that's where the trust and the confidence of how you handle your product and services becomes really very important. Okay, so before I end my session, I thought maybe I can just do a bit of marketing for ourselves. Next month, on the 30th and 31st July, by standard, our company will also be doing a 2-day workshop together with the Singapore Manufacturing Federation. And this is supported by the Workforce Singapore, and it's going to be the first ever workshop that focuses on a QMS with digitalization in mind. There's a tool that really helps you to streamline this whole entire process. And it's going to be based in SMF. And if you are really interested, and of course, I hope you would speak with some of your colleagues and friends. If anybody who's interested, just let me know. And my email address is okay. Time for Q&A. I think in lieu of time, I will just skip this. Just let me know if you have any question. Yeah, this is my email. And any point of time, just let me know what are your thoughts about this presentation, as well as if you are keen to join us for the workshop. I'll be more than happy. Just drop me an email. Okay, thank you very much, and have a good Friday evening, and thank you for your time.